All right, welcome into the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health, your hospital in Lower Bucks County. I'm here with head coach Mark Schmidt once again, 4-0 after a big win over William Tennant this past weekend at Harry E. Franks Memorial Stadium. We stay here for another week. We got homecoming this week against Harry S. Truman. We'll talk about them in a little bit. A team that may surprise, I think, a lot of us here in the National Conference. But go back to Friday, and in my mind, and maybe you can talk about it a little more, probably the most impressive performance you guys had on both sides of football maybe all year.
Well, going into the game, we really we challenged the offense and challenged the offensive line. I did personally, and everybody else really kind of harped on it. We've just been too inconsistent up front, and tight ends, fullbacks, O-line, everybody. And we protecting the quarterback. We were sloppy in protections. Our run game was sometimes good, sometimes terrible, and we just needed to get finished blocks and get on people. And very, very, pleased with the outcome when I watched the film on that night. Got into people, moved them around, and gave us some nice lanes to hit it, and kind of established the line of scrimmage. Defensively, they're playing hard. I know the players and the coaches aren't real happy with our overall performance. A lot of guys are disappointed in their efforts, and they just kind of felt a little bit out of sync with it. But that's a good thing too, sure, because those guys have a lot of pride, and I'm looking forward to those guys really bouncing back this week and playing a tough Truman team.
And we'll start on the offensive side of the ball, and we can mention DeAndre Pollard each week. He's been a lightning rod for you guys in the backfield. Yeah. But you mentioned up front, the front five looked very dominant this week. Did a nice job, and you mentioned they've shown parts where they've been very good, and at times, like you mentioned, there was some inconsistencies. But you got a nice veteran group up front to rely on, starting with John Cook and the rest of the guys.
Yeah, John and Dan, and well, I guess you better start with them all. I mean,
yeah.
You got Luke and Billy at tight end,
yep,
and you've got Hunter and Matt Wynn at guard, and John at the center, and then Dan Johnson and Mike Palmer.
Yep.
Brendan Byrne fills in, Will Taylor fills in, so we've got some athletic kids that can step in and help us there, and then fullback has been, Blake Denny and Alex. So there's a group that can kind of know their way around the weight room, and they're familiar with what we're doing. We're building our package a little bit, and you saw Denny back there with the ball and fullbacks up and too tight set and stuff, and we've got some things that we like to do and establish line of scrimmage, and I thought Tyler made a couple nice throws there, and we got a couple. Luke got his touchdown, and hand pack out wide, and Cole really showing that confidence that I really want to see from him in his punt returns and his leadership and his blocking. So I think the first 4 weeks we're not exactly where I want us to be,
right,
but I think we need to get better at depth, and I think we need to get some of our guys that get in there to play. I was not very happy with the group that came in after we pulled everybody, and thought they could have and should have played better, and because we're going to need some of those guys,
sure,
and that's a concern, but because we officially started the second half of the season Saturday morning, because even though it's 6 games, not 5, because Truman is certainly a team that can come down the pike and really come after you.
Talk about a team in Truman in a few minutes, but first I want to talk about a guy you mentioned lastly, Tyler Wambo, a guy we haven't really talked about the last couple of weeks. People use the adage game manager as a bad thing sometimes, but no interceptions. He hasn't turned the football over for the most part, and
So why do you have to say what?
I've done this twice now, so I know this is gonna.
It's like you watch the golf show.
I'm gonna get yelled at on Friday night.
Hasn't missed a 2-foot putt in 10 years, and then boom, he misses the putt.
But to go with that,
hasn't struck out, and he struck out. I mean, what? Why?
To come in this year, he's 0 for 3. He didn't have a lot of varsity experience. Comes here, he's done a nice job managing the game for you guys.
Yeah, he's a good player, and he understands the offense very well. His arm is better than average. Sometimes he just needs to just settle down and play. That's the frustrating part of it there. I mean, I think if he makes a couple real nice throws, and he makes a couple throws where you scratch your head, and But you know, again, this is his first time back there running it, so you know, he has to improve also. And as a team, I thought our kickoff coverage was shabby at times. You know, so we dropped another extra point opportunity on the mechanics there. So yeah, those things can't happen. And you know, even if you're up or if it's tie score, I mean, you got to have your mind on your business, and that kind of stuff is just you know, frustrating and unacceptable.
You know, each week we mentioned star guys, Sullivan, Lord, Carazal, but the last couple of weeks we've been noticing now the backups coming a little earlier than usual. Yeah. And a couple guys that stood out to me was Stevens on the edge at defensive back and moving in at wide receiver and things like that, the younger guy.
JR's a talented guy. He's moved up our ranks. He's we're excited about him. And we knew he could be a very good player. And you know, the one thing he needed more than anything was just to know what he was doing so he could use his ability. He was spending a little too much time thinking about it before he did it, and it's very evident by his flash and by the way he's been playing that he feels comfortable now with what's up. And we're really excited about him being involved in some of our coverage packages and stuff, and being a real lightning rod for us on almost all of our special teams.
Another guy, Jake Fox, has been big on your special teams. Younger brother, too, did a nice job on Friday as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the part of the ownership thing we're talking about, man. And, you know, Jake's a senior. He's a guy that, you know, that could say, gee whiz, you know, 3 years I'm not playing. But Jake takes it upon himself to really to lead some of those units that we have. And he's a good kid. He's a popular guy. He's the guys, everybody likes him. And his little brother Dalton's going to be a good player.
We'll see Dalton and Jake and the rest of the guys this Friday on special teams and maybe other places as well. When we come back, we'll talk about the Harry S. Truman Tigers as well as homecoming. So I don't know if you're nominated for anything this year. Or...
I slide away.
Okay.
Yeah, this homecoming thing is...
He's very modest.
4 games and 4 home games and, you know, 5 days. It was crazy.
It's great.
You know, great schedule.
That's right. It's fantastic. So we'll come back and talk about the Truman Tigers here on the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health. We'll be right back.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
All right, welcome back into the Coach Mark Schmidt Show, presented as always by Aria Health. And this show is growing in popularity. I can barely get around Harry E. Franks Memorial Stadium. Look at me. I've had numerous now, when I go up to the press box to call the game, you're the video guy, they say. I can barely walk through the stadium now, so it's becoming a burden.
Really?
But I do it for you, you know. So, you know,
for me,
I do it for you, Coach. You know, without you, I would just say, you know, forget it. The burden's too much. The popularity's too much.
Look, if it's too much,
well,
please step aside.
Maybe I'll have you and Coach Ferreira do it one week.
Give me Tuesday morning. I can spend more time on the film. Okay.
I know you value this.
Sitting here doing all this. I appreciate it, man.
Truman coming up on Friday. Neshaminy comes in 4-0. Truman comes in at 2-2, 0-1 in Conference League play. If you look at this, the box score from last week, a 4-2-7 loss to Pennsbury, you think normal Pennsbury-Truman game, but really at the half, 7-7, Truman comes out, turns the ball over, but this is a tough physical Truman team, and a lot of guys have now been 3, some 4-year starters.
Right.
They're seasoned, and they're going to come ready to play.
There's no doubt, and our guys know that. They've already watched the film. They've watched, you know, Upper Dublin, where they went out there and played great, and then they have this lull in the games that they've lost, where they just really, where things just kind of come unraveled, and other teams take advantage. And both losses kind of had that spot in it where things just kind of got crazy, went sideways. But the 2 games that didn't have a lull, I mean, they just blew people out. So they're physical, they're big, they run an offense that they feel very comfortable with. Defensively, you know, we know what they're running. We've got a couple guys that have been here are over there with them, and so we know that part of it. A little bit of a chess match, and you know, extremely fast, and they're playing with confidence. They're flying around. They're hitting people.
You know, it's easy at one point for you know, these are young kids to get complacent. You guys are 4-0, you're scoring a lot of points, you're putting a lot of points up, and you know that's your job to kind of taper those things. Do you see maybe this week it's homecoming, more distractions, Truman teams coming in to kind of give them added motivation that, you know, this is a good football team we're playing?
Well, I made it very clear that all that stuff could be a bit of a problem.
Right.
But, judging by the way our guys felt last week at the end, and you know, with the way the game ended, with that touchdown, and then Saturday grading themselves and looking at defensively, I think our guys are pretty well attended. And offense, we really challenged them to make that the starting point, don't make that a high point in what we're doing, because you know the grades came out, and you know, physically I think we were able to really take advantage of Tennett's front, and so you know I don't think that advantage is not going to be there with Truman. You know, they're big and thick, and they're very tough, and they play hard, and I don't think that's going to be the same game. So our guys have already watched that film too yesterday, so you know, we're fully aware of what's coming.
Speaking of guys playing hard, second week we talked about him, Dorian Arthur, another big week for him on the weak side. Complimenting Luke Carazola, 2 sacks in that win over William Tennant. You got to like his production now, week in and week out, coming together.
Dorian's a very good athlete, and you know, Dorian's still just trying to separate everything and trying to kind of just narrow down. You know, Dorian's problem is sometimes things just get a little bit, you know, he lets the big picture occur when it shouldn't, and has us very concerned this week, because this week he can't have a big picture. He's got to be very much involved in his responsibilities, and if he's not, we're going to be in trouble. So that's the challenge that we can put out on these kids and have some real bite to it. And there's 3 or 4 guys that I don't think are playing near as well as they should. There's a couple other guys I think are playing okay but can play better, and so we made them very much aware of that. And because if we don't play smart assignment football this week, you know, they're going to be running up and down that field having a good time. And you know, offensively too, we've got to when we get the ball, we've got to take advantage of it, and we've got to be able to, again, to do things with it.
Do you think this team is coming in stride at the right time? I mean, I know you meant, I heard you post game talking to a couple reporters saying, you know, I don't even think we hit our stride yet. We're still growing as a team and things like that. That's got to feel good for you.
I'm not happy with our pass game. I think our run game's improving. There's some packages we'd like to get more reps out on film and see. You know, some of the game situations just didn't work out that way, with some other guys getting involved, and to show a little bit of more diversity and spread the field. But we've got that stuff that's still there, but no, I think we still have a lot of questions we've got to get tightened up. Our kicking game is very inconsistent, and we're not known for that. And you know, we've always kind of really been pretty buttoned up on those things, and you know, I'm far from happy. But and if we decide to, you know, to wet the bed, you know, we're going to be in trouble.
Right. Touching on special teams, we mentioned Chris Watson last week, did a nice job against Saturday. This week, Cole Creighton stole the show. A couple nice punt returns. You know, he's been out back there a while now.
Cole, that was the cool part for me. That really fired me up, because you know, we all know Cole's a very talented guy.
Yeah.
Cole's also is one of the more caring guys around. He's really, 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 you know,
team oriented.
He's that way, and he just doesn't want to make mistakes, and he's sometimes on the safe side. You know, it was good to see him play with that confidence and really turn it loose, because, you know, you saw him really just kind of, you know, make the play and hit it, and then he went back and made another really good catch and hit it, and, you know, and that fires me up, because, you know, that excites me, because he's a guy, obviously we scored and then we held him and then we punted, and Cole rips it back to where they punted, and the next play we're in the end zone. You know, pretty much now we're well on top of things, and you know, he's the kind of guy that can really change a game, and you know, we all know that. That's why he's there.
Yep.
And you know, to see him kind of take those strides really fired us up.
Well, we'll see how many more strides they take on Friday against Harry S. Truman, a game you can hear on WBCB 1490.com. Homecoming 4-0. The Redskins come in. Tigers come in at 2-2, 0-1 in Conference League play, but as Coach Mark mentioned, a very physical and veteran group we're going to see on Friday night. Now, we've been doing pick'em segments, but I'm going to give you a bye this week because you've had this 1-1 thing going on. You can't get 2-0. You picked the Chiefs on Thursday, great call. Then you picked the teacher over the student. Andrew Luck comes in the candlestick and just looks, I mean, he had a nice run and pass package. And they come in and really hammer his old coach.
How about that? You know, I'm thrilled for the guy.
Sure.
He's a guy that nobody talks very much about. And him and that kid down there from Miami,
Ryan Tannehill. Yeah.
They talk about, you know, RG3 and this guy and that guy and all that stuff. Those two guys are really playing great. And, you know, it just tells you what that level's all about.
Well, I'm going to give you the week off from that, but I want to talk about a cool event that was here at Harry E. Franks Memorial Stadium on Sunday. It involved Chamonix players and Chamonix coaches, as well as coaches and players from all over the district. Pennsbury, Truman, Ben Salem, kids came along. I thought it was a great kudos to you and your entire staff. I want you to kind of just talk about that for a little bit when we had a moment.
Well, it's an event, but just to correct you a little bit, it's a season. It's 10 years. It's 10 weeks.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And it's our Challenger football program, and it's Bucks County.
Wow.
Years back, my wife took me to watch one of her girlfriends who works for her. Her son had Down syndrome, and I went up and got in the car. I went up to Montgomery County up near North Penn, and I saw this guy and a bunch of other young men, young boys challenged and such, physically, mentally, play flag football, and they had the time of their life. And the parents got to watch, and I was like, wow, we got to do this. So fortunate enough to find Bob and Joan Wargo. Bob Wargo is a longtime coach, Ben Salem, the Chamonix coach, and was a phys ed teacher in Ben Salem. His wife Joan was director of special ed. Since retired, Bob has since retired. This has kind of been their baby, and they've taken it and run. I brought them into it, and we talked about it. It's funded privately. No one writes a check. No one pays a nickel. And when we did it, we used to do it out before they redid the whole school. We did it out front on a piece of grass with a big tree and put the cones up for a small field because we had about 10 kids.
Right.
And now I think we've already broken 75.
Wow.
Young men and women.
Sure.
My two daughters, my daughter Erica's a junior. She and a couple other girls from here are coaching the cheerleading team. I think they have 12 young ladies on the track for cheerleading.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. We're now looking to probably slide out of the stadium and move the younger kids into another field to keep the line shorter and let them play more, because we're just kind of bouncing around. We never wanted to make it into Chamonix.
Right.
It was because I just want everybody to get. I think it's important that other people get involved and help people that aren't able to do some of the things that we're blessed to do. And every year I talk to our guys the Tuesday before, and what I say to them is very simple. I say, you know what, guys, there's going to be more of you guys that get more out of this than the person that you help. And it's funny, that's not funny, it's ironic, I've already had 3 or 4 first-time guys show up that showed up on Sunday, see me so far yesterday, and say, Coach, you were right. It's awesome.
That's great.
Wow. I got the greatest kid, he's this and that, they're just raving about their guys. And I think it's a great environment, and we have Pennsbury guys show up. We've had Truman, we've had Calvary Christian, we've had I think Tennant is now coming over. We had Father Judge come up and come up and help us in years. We've had some Marsville kids. And I think that's what it's all about. And then they can take their buddy with them to their games. They can go watch them play. We certainly promoted at our place with our guys, and the Pennsbury and the Chamonix game, there's the most group of kids that are involved in it. We invite them to wherever the game is, and they come and for the coin toss and give them a chance of being out there and being more special than the players are. And so it's just something that we've done, and it again, I get to just kind of watch and see what's going on, and it's fun. Our end club gets involved. We have our water break and our pretzel break, and they all sit and hang out with their buddies and their kids, and it's really cool. I mean, it's cool, man. And it's week 1. We have 9 more.
That's right.
And please feel free to come down.
Sure.
see it. It's very heartwarming. The parents get to watch their children, their sons and their daughters.
Yeah.
You know, usually in some of these events, they tell us that, you know, they have to help them in bowling. They have to help them with baseball. And here, they just get to bring their lawn chair and watch and be like I hate to say the word normal, but to be a parent that can just relax and enjoy. I don't want to, you know, and because there's nothing normal in their lives. But for that hour and a half, 2 hours, they can just really kind of, you know, enjoy the whole thing. And you know, they're such a close knit group of parents because they're together so much. And it's really nice to see that they've jumped in and recruited other people. And you know, if more are coming, that means it's a good thing.
Yep.
So we're happy that it's going in that direction. And Bob and Joan and their people just do a marvelous job.
We're going to try to get to 100 now. It's every Sundays at 10 to noon, is it? Is that correct?
It's about I want to say 10:30 to about 12:30.
Okay.
Quarter to 1.
Every week here at Harry.
Every year.
So coming out Sunday after a big Neshaminy win on Friday, you come on out, see some of the guys, see Coach Mark Schmidt, and a couple great events all season long here at Harry E. Frank's on Sunday. Friday, Friday Neshaminy and Truman. I'm going, and you get me all mixed up with the different teams. And
nobody blames me.
You mentioned a bunch of schools, and now I can't.
Well, you know,
get my
that's
mind
kind of what it's all about.
And maybe I'm just going forward a little too much too. So
well, let's take this thing one at a time.
Neshaminy Truman on Friday against on WBCB 1490.com. So for Matt Miro, Coach Mark Schmidt, and Aria Health, our sponsor, signing off, saying we'll see you Friday, and please just let me just live my life on Fridays. I don't get enough. They hound me. I'm gonna get just all kinds of emails for that. Take care, everybody.
This guy's like Chris Collinsworth over here.